Today's activation is here to support you anytime you experience lack, scarcity, and not enough. When you move into that state, that experience that is connected to or triggers your survival fears or survival patterns. Now, the first step is identifying what happens for you when your lack, scarcity, or not enough, those hardwired survival patterns, it's activated, it gets triggered. Because sometimes it's not clear. It's not going to be immediately evident that that is what is happening. But I want you to become masterful at noticing when you go into survival patterns of lack, of scarcity, of not enough, and to witness, to start to become aware of what you do, what is your default reaction or behavioral patterns when this fires off. Because this is the pattern you want to witness, that you want to catch, you want to notice when you're doing it. So this may be a bit of a puzzle. It may take some time for you to identify how lack, scarcity, and not enough manifests in your life. One, of course, is in our finances or relationship or all sorts of areas, business. And then how you react to that, how you respond to that will be key. And then catching it and working on shifting and changing that pattern as soon as possible. You want to come back within, catch, there it is. There's that lack, survival, not enough pattern. I've gone into survival. What do I need to do? How do I need to hold myself to step back into a place of abundance, of wholeness, connection, and come home, regardless of outside circumstances? Now, of course, this is a journey. This is a process that we cannot force change, but we can hold a safe space for you and your body, your mind, your emotions to balance, to harmonize, one step, one breath at a time. So you've experienced or are experiencing some kind of lack, of scarcity, of not enough somewhere in your life. And you're coming into today's session to breathe with it, to be with it, to work with it. So I would like you to welcome in this part of you, the part that lives in lack, that lives in scarcity, that lives in not enough. And that may be having a very real experience of this in your physical reality. So that is the symptom, that is the result of something much deeper going on within. And so we take that external trigger, that's external circumstance, and we go in and see if we can find where that is mirroring inside of you and start to turn that around. So I'd like you to just start breathing into your belly. And we're going to welcome this part of you into the room. We're going to welcome this part of you into this space. One of the first steps, the first step is recognizing when you've gone into a pattern of survival, lack, scarcity, not enough. And the second is to create space to be with it, stay present with it, and do the inner work. Right? And then the third is to stay present with this part of you. Eventually, we want to befriend it. Eventually, we want to learn how to love and hold and receive this part of you. And then eventually, we want to transform it. But the first thing we want to do is stay present with it. This part of you does not know how to receive. This part of you is in separation with yourself, but also with life. And this part of you lives deep in the shadows. We need to go and retrieve this part of you. So I'd like you to breathe and stay present first with any thoughts, or any feelings, or any physical sensations in the body, however this is showing itself, or whatever access or entry point you have. So let's just breathe. And I would like to welcome the part of you that's living in lack, scarcity, not enough, and that moves into survival patterns. We want to breathe. And this part usually lives around the sacral area, the pelvic floor, perineum. You can live in the genitals. I'm going to breathe down into your belly. Breathe down into your Now, whether you realize it or not, this part of you is alive and well and creates all the time in your life in all sorts of different ways. And it's been deprived of love, of attention, of life force energy. And without realizing it, you have also been unconsciously rejecting this part of yourself as well. It gets mirrored outside, but it lives inside as well. You want to go in and meet this part. Your job is to learn how to meet, stay present with, receive, and eventually love, and then eventually take care of this part of you. We're going deep into the shadows, deep into the underworld. So you may wish to get to know this part of you first. You can journal with this part of you. You can meditate. You may see this part of you as a character or as separate from yourself, about the lack and scarcity part, one that's in separation. It has all sorts of shadowy behaviors, trying to get its needs met. So let's get to know this part of you and how it's playing out in your life. Just keep breathing. I have so much love and compassion for this part of you. I want to help you to find love and compassion for this part of you as well, if you don't have it. And as you get to know this part of you, I want to understand, how does this part of you think, feel, and what does this part of you believe is the truth of life? What are the unconscious thoughts or beliefs? And just identify. Welcoming this part of you to the table, to the conversation, trying to understand this part of you, getting to know this part of you. And if there's a particular area that you are challenged by or stuck with or struggling with, you can ask this part of you to show you, how is this part of you creating in this situation? How is this part of you creating in this area of your life? And ask this part of you to show you, or ask yourself to be seen. What is it doing? It's in the underworld. It's underground. You may not see, you may not be conscious of. So we're going to bring the consciousness, the unconscious. How does the lack and scarcity, not enough, survival, part that is separated from life, how does this part of you create? What does it do? And again, we're witnessing, breathing in place of the observer, staying curious. It's shadow. We're going to learn how to integrate it in time. Let's just witness. Keep breathing deep into your belly. We do all sorts of fascinating behavior when we're in our survival patterns. So, staying curious, staying open, being this part of your voice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, what I'm visualizing is that we're starting to build this energy. We want to breathe this energy underneath you. We're starting to build what I like to call the financial foundations under you. So as we're breathing in and witnessing, and we're learning to hold the part of you that's in lack, scarcity, not enough, or survival. We're building this infrastructure that goes deeper and under this part of you, learning to hold this part of you, learning to love this part of you, essentially to care, but essentially to hold it. To hold it, we need to go deeper and under and start building infrastructure that's going to hold you. This is where manifestation comes in. I want to ask the part of you that's in lack and scarcity and not enough, what do you need? What do you need? Let it speak to you. You can free write with this part of you or meditate. What does this part of you need? Let's listen to those needs. Let's hear this part of you. Allow the needs to be acknowledged. Even if it feels impossible. What does this part of you want? What does it want? What does this part of you want? And I want you to allow yourself to want and allow the wanting to be there. Just witness it. Let this part of you speak. It's been locked away, deprived for a very long time. So it might be a little bit shadowy at first. It's okay. What does it want? What does it want? What do you want? What do you want? And we're going to hold a space to allow what this part of you needs and what this part of you wants. And keep breathing down into your pelvic bowl. And we're going to keep breathing underneath you because we're starting to build this holding and support, which essentially creates safety in time, roots, infrastructure. And just allow this part of you to say what it wants. Stream of consciousness. We're doing shadow work now. Breathing light into some deep, dark places and spaces. And I'd like you to see, feel, imagine you're starting to breathe down from the infrastructure beneath you or the ground beneath you, and start to breathe up into the lower center. So we're starting to breathe up energy from beneath you and breathe in. We're working on feeding this part of you. The hunger, the longing, the desire, the emptiness, the pain, whatever this part of you is experiencing, you want to start to feed it with energy, with focus. Just allow this part of you to be here. And breathe in this part of yourself. Breathe life into this part of yourself. Feeding this part that has been denied and deprived for a long time. We're learning to feed this part of you, to nurture and take care of this part of you, to love this part of you, to hold this part of you. And teaching this part of you how to receive, because it doesn't know how. And that's okay. One breath at a time, one step at a time. Breathing light into the darkness. And then everything that this part of you wants, longs for, and needs, we're going to allow it to be here. You can see, feel, imagine, know that what you want is here, and we're going to call it in. Tap into it, at least as an energetic. Or see, feel, imagine, know what you want all around you, and let's see if we can welcome that in. Welcome that in. Welcome that in. We're inviting, we're the invitation for this part of you to welcome it in. Welcome it in. Welcome it in. Remembering that receiving is immensely vulnerable. We need safety to receive. Now, the good news is that within this part of you that's been in separation, in lack, scarcity, not enough, deprivation, there is immense creative power. That when this part is met, held, heard, supported, looked after, there is a lot of energy in here. When you can feed this part of you. So there is value in time, learning how to meet these needs and honor what you want. One step at a time. So you can ask, if you're curious, for this part of you to show you when you're well fed, when you're well looked after, when you're receiving, when you feel safe. Tell me about your gifts. Tell me about your superpowers. Tell me about what you have to give and share with this world. I bring you out of the shadows of shame and learn how to love you, hold you, and integrate you into life. Tell me about what you have in store for us. You get to build safety with this part of you now. But please acknowledge what you see, what you feel, what's here, this immense power that lies within this part of you. That when you come back into connection, into wholeness, into integration, back into abundance, back into life, this part of you holds so much. Please be patient with yourself as you learn how to hold, to receive, to love, to nurture this part of you, and breathe this part of you back into life. So we can tap back into the infrastructure that's going to go deeper and under this part of you that's here to hold and support you. What do you need? What do you want? Calling it in as the ground, as the foundations to feed you, to support you, to hold you, to look after you. Breathing in those lower centers where you may not be able to see yet. And to draw up from beneath you. And ask what this part of you needs to feel safe, to merge back into life. And I'd like to apologize to this part of you. Say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me for locking you in the basement or in the dungeon of despair, for not knowing how to love you or hold you or receive you or look after you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Let me love you. Thank you for being here. Deep acknowledgement. How can I look after you? What you need? How can I support you? Open up to receive. And then in time, we're integrating this part of you into the body. You're holding this part of you, receiving this part of you, integrating this part of you into life, where it comes back into wholeness, back into unity, back into oneness with all of life. No longer in separation, no longer in scarcity, fully alive, fully here, fully embodied. Breathing through every cell of your body and waking up the creative power that's been lying dormant. And so once integrated, held with needs met, being heard and listened to and taken care of, what does this part of you know? That wealthy wisdom within. Is there any guidance? Any wisdom for you? Where you sit now? What are you being guided to do from a place of wholeness and safety? Breathe into the belly, breathe into the body. And then if it feels right for you, you can make a commitment to this part of yourself to continue to work with, support, get to know, in co-creation, learning how to bridge the gap. One step at a time, one breath at a time. Once again, giving thanks to yourself, thanks to this part of you that's learning to live again, learning to come back into life. And thank you. And taking all the time that you need, slowly but surely coming around when you're ready. Writing down any wisdom, any notes and information. Calling yourself back.